Day 6, Bethel, and today we will be studying 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 16 to 24. Now, all the fasts that we have looked at up until this point, whenever the people fasted, God moved on their behalf and in their favor. What they wanted, they received. This case, not so much. David fasted for mercy for the life of his son, and unfortunately, he did not get what he asked God for. However, what's so powerful about this passage is David's response to that disappointment. Yes, he believed that God was able, but when things didn't work out the way he wanted, he responded with worship. So here's my question to you. Is there an area in your life where you are struggling to accept the will of God? Is there areas in your life where you need the mercy of God? After David worshiped, his men came to him and they asked him, I don't get it. You were so devastated and you cried and you wouldn't eat when your son was sick. And now that he died, you're worshiping and you are eating. What happened? And listen to David's response in verse 22. He said, I fasted and wept while the child was alive, for I said, perhaps the Lord will be gracious to me and let the child live. But why should I fast when he's dead? Can I bring him back again? I will go to him one day, but he cannot return to me. And after this, David comforted Bathsheba, his wife, and slept with her. She became pregnant and gave birth to a son, and David named him Solomon. The Lord loved the child. Things may not always turn out the way you want, but again, the challenge is to not lose your worship. And if you're struggling to accept God's will, if you're struggling to understand why he didn't move on your behalf, bring that to him. He is available for that conversation. But what I love also about his story is it did not end there. Because David was not stuck in grief, not only was he able to be a comfort to somebody else who was grieving, he was able to receive God's blessing in the form of Solomon. There is life after disappointment, but you can't lose your worship. So again, what area are you struggling to accept the will of God? And what area do you need to experience the comfort of God? And how can you create intentional time to worship in spite of how you may feel? It's a little bit tough today, but I still hope you have amazing conversations with God.